Hello and welcome in Northern Lights. I decided to make a short video about the basic survival skills you need to have in this game. It will be some sort of tutorial of how to get fire, food, fresh water and overall explanation of some game features. This game is still in alpha, therefore most likely some of those things will change. I will try to make the new video each time it will happen. Current alpha is 0.9.1 EA. Okay, let's go! Finding sticks is pretty straightforward. You can find them laying on the ground somewhere, like here for example, usually around the trees. When you chop down the tree you get some sticks. Also, when you scrap the firewood, when you harvest the firewood, you get 2 sticks per firewood. Also, usually you can find them, you can salvage the tables and benches and chairs in the houses. You need to have the hatchet for this, but when you salvage you get some of the sticks as well. Stones are not problematic either. You can find them around, usually around the trees or around the mountains. And don't look at the stones which has snow on it, because this is just the part of the scenery. As you can see, they will look like different, like this one for example. So bear in mind that not all stones you can pick up. This one for example, I don't think it's meant to be stone. I think it meant to be a part of the snowball or something. Like this one is not a stone, this one is not a stone, but you can see them pretty easily. Like here for example, this one, this one, this one. Those are all the stones to pick up. Easy. Nests you can find on the trees. This is the nest. In nest you have usually 1 egg, sometimes the 1 feather, and you can pick up the nest itself. As you can see here, I got all 3 items. Roots to make the rope are usually next to the trees as well. When you find a root on a tree, there are usually 2 of them. There is no such thing like the tree with 1 root. I didn't find the tree with 1 root. Usually there are 2 roots. You see, this is the roots, and this one as well. So when you find 1 tree, you can make actually a rope, and after you can make a hatchet and whatnot. This one as well. Easy. Scrap metal you can usually find in houses and in some POIs laying around. Also, when you find some food, when you find, let's say, canned pork and rice, when I consume it, I got a recycled can. When I harvest the can, I get a scrap metal. You cannot harvest the scrap metal from the cooking pot. I don't know why, but you cannot do it. Cloth you can find in houses as well, laying around. Also, in some houses you can scavenge the pillows if you find any, and sometimes curtains, but just in the particular houses. Not every single curtain you can scrap, and not all beds has the pillows as well, so you have to be lucky. Like here for example, we have 2 pillows, so I can salvage 2 of them and I get 2 cloth per pillow. Pretty easy. In regards of ropes, you can also find them in the POIs, in the random lootable containers, sometimes, usually in shelves. Sometimes there is a rope. Obviously I scavenged this house already, so there shouldn't be anything here. Although I think the loot still sometimes respawn in some places. Not here, but there are pillows here. If you won't be able to find the rope, the easiest way is, as I mentioned, is to craft it from the roots. This is the fastest way to get the rope. I think this is the fastest way. A bark, if you would like to, for example, make the bidon, you can find either the same way like sticks, or when you chop the tree and you have the logs, when you harvest the log, you usually get 1 bark. Get 4 firewood and 1 bark, you see? Firewood we can throw away, I don't need it either. But yeah, or you can find it laying around the trees. If you would like to find this kind of things, usually aim for the foresty area, like there, for example. There will be much more of this stuff. There are some of the places where there is some sort of foresty area, like here, there, and usually you can find much more sticks and bark and stones around these areas than any other areas. Pretty straightforward. To find a sub for the sterile bandages, no, the sub dressing, I like to call them sterile bandages, you have to find the stumps. This is sub, pine sub, you see? Yellowish thing on the stumps. And pine cones, the same way like sticks or stones, you can find them laying on the ground around the tree area. Usually in the forest areas you can also find the dead birds, you can harvest them. Very first skill you have to learn in this game is how to make the fire. It's pretty straightforward. Go to the skills, campfires, we choose the small fire, place the blueprint, place 8 sticks, and now we can start it. We use it, we have to first place the tinder, which can be nests, the inner spruce bark. The inner spruce bark you can get from the bark when you harvest it. The cash money or paper debris. I didn't find any other. I think the books as well, but I always harvest the books. We can place one of those, and we have to find a starter. So obviously a lighter or the matches is the perfect starter. However, you can make the hand drill as well, although I wouldn't recommend it. It's a hassle to make it. You need, I think, a rope for it, or maybe a stick. However, it takes a lot of space in the inventory, and there is better way to actually start the fire, and that are stones. You take the stones, there will be an animation, and we have a fire. Pretty easy. Let's talk about the food early on. Food is not really a big problem in this game, if you know few things about it. First of all, try not to eat anything raw. Try not to eat any plants or any mushrooms, nothing raw. Simply because you don't know the effect of it. Unless you are in a safe location, you have abundance of food, and you are ready for the food poisoning and a fever. Like I am right now. I fight off the food poisoning, I just have a fever now. So this is the safe way to do it, unless you really have to do it. I'm not going to tell you which mushrooms are poisonous, which mushrooms are not, and the same with plants. I will let you to discover it, because this is part of the game actually, and me doing the video about this is basically breaking the game. However, I will tell you how to concentrate, especially early on, how to concentrate on which food to concentrate. We have 3 different, actually 4. We have plants, we have eggs, we have mushrooms, and we have the lootable food. Lootable food in the POIs, obviously if you find it, it's safe. Most of the times it gives you the recycled can, brilliant. Plants I don't really use. I know they have the infusions as well, and I know which one of them because I just tested it, but I don't really use the plants. I'm at least not just yet. Eggs I use for the travel. You have to cook it in a recycled can, you have to actually have the either recycle can, either the cooking pot. You have to boil the egg. So this is the eggs are a good way to, especially early on, the good way to actually maintain some food in the inventory, because they don't take much space. The food, obviously we have the berries as well. I'm not going to talk about berries much. You can eat them raw, or you can use the berries as a bite for the snares. So bear in mind that if you have some berries, it's better to actually build the snares and catch the rabbits instead of eating them raw. The mushroom, first of all, the mushrooms are used as a bait for the fishing. Any mushroom is used as a bait for the fishing, which is great. So you can use any mushrooms. And the second thing is, from the mushrooms you can make the mushroom soup. And the case with the mushroom soup, let me show you this. This is the normal edible mushroom, yeah? So you can make a mushroom soup. This is the poisonous mushroom. We can make the mushroom soup from it as well, and we can eat it. Which means that from both, you see, this is the mushroom soup and this is the mushroom soup. Which means that any mushroom is good to make a soup out of it. So any mushroom is safe if you make a soup out of it. Of course you need to have the cooking pot, you have to find it and so on. However, this is in my opinion a little bit OP, and this is the best food early game. You just basically make the mushroom soup couple of times, you eat it, and that's it. This plants, by the way, you can eat as well. We'll show you this because this is I think the first plant you will find. So yeah, the mushroom soup is just completely OP, and this is what I would aim to eat in save locations, and the eggs for travels. The reason for the mushrooms to be OP is because, first of all, you can have 4 of them in one spot, so you can have actually quite a lot of food in your inventory, just taking some time, and because obviously you have to have the cooking pot as well in your main inventory. But you can have quite a lot of food because when you have like 8 mushrooms, so just the 2 spots. They are quite light. They are not really heavy, so obviously mushrooms. So this is the second thing, and giving 15 of hunger is more than the boiled egg, because boiled egg gives you 10 of hunger. And a quick word about the water. To have the water in this game, you can either make the bidon, and grab the water from nearby like lake or the river, but be careful with this water because you can get a dysentery out of it. The hydration is also in the food, so keep an eye on this. Like in the berries, for example, we have 5 hydration here. And the best source of water is basically melt the snow. I melt the snow in a cooking pot, it gives 100 water, and recycled can gives 30. So basically drink it and do another one. I don't know why you cannot pour the water from, for example, the cooking pot to the bidon to have the safe water in the bidon. I didn't find a method to have the safe water in the bidon just yet, so I'm using this basically at the moment. I'm just cooking the water on the campfire every time, because you have to make the campfire every now and then to pull up the temperature. So every now and then I'm using this waiting on next to the campfire to actually cook the water and boil some eggs and this kind of stuff. Pretty easy if you pay attention to it. Oh, and one more thing. This will be a small, tiny spoiler for the story, just at the beginning of the story. At the beginning, next to the crash site, it's a good idea to make the stone knife or the knife. I mean, stone knife is easier because you just find a couple of stones and you make the stone knife. Because around this crash site, there are around 4 birds, dead birds. You can harvest them and you can have some meat out of it. And this is usually the first thing I do when I start the new game, is I basically make the stone knife and the harvest. I think there are 4 birds or even 5 birds, I'm not sure. But usually I'm aiming to get the 4 birds, to harvest 4 birds out of it. Quick word about afflictions. Afflictions are some sort of like moodlets in Project Zomboid, for example. Some effects on health of your body. As you can see, I have a couple of them right now. I have the risk of hypothermia and the fever. And when the bar is yellow, and so the risk of the infection or hypothermia, as you can see here, when it reaches the end, so the right side, it will develop hypothermia in this case, or the infection in other case, or the flu can develop pneumonia, and so on and so on. The best way, I'm not going to talk about all afflictions, I will show you the most common ones. So first of all, the hypothermia, the risk to fight the risk of hypothermia is to basically get warm, so stand next to the fire. Let's wait a second, so I will develop actually hypothermia. When develop the hypothermia, so the green bar, when it reaches the right side, it will disappear as well. However, as I mentioned, some of them might develop the worse diseases, so we don't want to do that. However, for the hypothermia, it's pretty easy. Just stay next to the fire. The risk and the hypothermia itself, it's thought of similar way. You stand next to the fire and basically cook the meat or water and just keep drinking it. The hot items, I mean the hot food, when you eat or drink the hot food, it actually cure the hypothermia much faster. Let me show you. So we drink this water now, and you see the hypothermia moved a little bit. So we do this a couple of times and we are good. The fever, to fight off the fever and hypothermia as well, is basically to sleep it off. And go to the sleep, wait. Obviously, as you can see, my sanity is going down because I'm sick. So,
Feels like I'm going crazy.
yep, you have to avoid going all the way down. But as you can see, he's pulling this up as well. To pull up the sanity, just stand next to the fire as well. One fire gives 3, so make like 8 campfires, stand next to them, and you'll pull up the sanity pretty quickly. The other very common affliction is abrasion and sometimes infection. Abrasion and infection when the animal will attack you, abrasion when you fall down from heights or something. The easiest way to fight this off, I think the only way, is to use the subdressing. I mean, the bandages for the abrasion, subdressings will fight the infection as well.
Behind you.
Yep, the guy is going to start to go crazy. And yeah, so having few bandages will actually help you. With the abrasion. Sorry, I'm just trying to start more fires, so his sanity will go up a little bit. Yeah, man, I know. You are cold. You will be hot in a second. Yeah, as you can see, my sanity is going down. Yeah, but it's half, so in about like 10 minutes of doing something like that, I will be able to... Oh, I need to pick this up. Yeah, so by sleeping I cure the fever, the hypothermia is almost done as well. I just need to drink something hot and I will be good. Another very often affliction is food poisoning.
I've got my eyes on you.
Yeah, the guy's going crazy. The food poisoning, the easiest way to fight the food poisoning is to eat 4 charcoals. Those are the charcoals. So you eat the stack of the charcoal and you are fine. The way to get the charcoal is when you have the campfire, and when the campfire finish, you can salvage it and get the charcoal. You can also find the charcoal in various locations. I'm not going to tell you where. I don't want to spoil too much of this game, you know. But the easiest way is basically campfires, start them, wait until they finish, you get the charcoal, and you can fight off the food poisoning pretty easily. And the last affliction which can happen to you is flu. And flu is... yeah. Flu is easy as well if you know what you are doing. It's basically using the pine cones. You need to make the infusion from the pine cones. Well, I'm not going there. Let me quickly do this. So when you cook some water in a can, you can actually make the infusion, and this infusion is curing flu. Same way, you can spam it. It's not doing this like over time, it's just basically fill up a part of this bar of the affliction. So you can... I just need to take care of the sanity right now. And as I mentioned, campfires, spamming campfires, eat good food. I think I have some good food around, so I will just eat some good food, sleep, and I will be good. This is spoiled. But yeah, the afflictions you can find, the information about the afflictions you can find in here. And when you get a new one, it will appear here. You see, I just have 4 of them at the moment. I didn't find another. I know about another, like broken bones and stuff. It usually gives you the information how to fight them off in here. Quick word about the crafting system. To actually craft something, you have to go to the book, and the right side are the items to craft. There are the different categories of the items to craft. So we have the basic tools and materials like rope and stuff, and torch and fishing tackle. Also the medical medical items. The second are the campfires. I don't know the difference between those 2 campfires, to be honest. I mean, I know they cost different. I think this one is more effective. But I hardly ever make them. After we have traps, and you can research the traps. You can find the research books to research the fishing tackle and other traps as well. After we have shelters, so the stick bed, and after you can actually research the roof shelter, and I think there is more of it. And the last one are the holders, so the storage. We have the rock holder, rope holder, and after you can get the pelt curing rack. This is actually quite important to cure the fur, so you can actually use it to craft something. And the storage box. The storage box I will show you looks like that. You have 3 spots, a stack of 6. We have stack of 4 here, so I will be able to take those 4 and 2 of those. And this is the storage box, in case you were wondering how it looks like, if it's worth to make it or not. In my opinion, it should be different. It should be the same way like this, like the backpack. So it will be a spot, and you can place the items over there, because this is not enough space, and there's not enough variety of items, just 3 different items. So you have to basically spam those storage boxes around to actually have the storage for the different stuff, you know. But yeah,
Stop trying.
when you find anything here, if you have the required items, you can craft the items, and this is pretty easy. The first one, obviously the other ones, so the campfires and the shelters and the storages and traps, you can place. So you grab the blueprint and you place it somewhere. The first one you don't place anywhere, you just craft it in your inventory. So this is the inventory crafting, this is like the area crafting. And more you craft items, the more items you will have here. It all depends of your skills. So the crafting skill, the more skill level you have, the better items you can craft. The skill level improve only when you craft the items from the first category. So the knives and the hatchets and torches, all this kind of stuff. When you craft this, it will actually improve your crafting skill. You will see that you get the crafting point. Any other, it doesn't do it. The easiest way to actually grind this a little bit is from the day one, find a stone and craft the stone knives. You don't want to use anything which has a rope, because rope is precious and it's you will need a lot of it. So it's better to avoid crafting anything with rope, and stones you can find anywhere. So usually when I'm running around, when I find some stones, I just pick them up, craft the stone knives, throw away the knives and move on. And the second item to do this, it was, hold on, the arrows. Obviously you have to have the feathers, but if you pick up the eggs and you start to look around, or the birds, you will have abundance of feathers, and they just cost a feather and stick, so you can craft them like crazy. Cloth is important to build the storages, so try not to spam bandages unless you really need it, because you need like 4 cloth to build the storage chest, so it's kind of precious material as well. But everything else, you can even use the hand drill with the 1 stick and 1 spruce bark.
I think I'm losing my mind.
Yeah, me too, mate. If you have the bark around, if you're around the forest or something. But I think the stone knives are the best to actually pull up the crafting, to level up the crafting fast. Fishing. There are a few different ways to actually catch the fish in this game. The first one is to find the fishing cuts. Those are the fishing cuts. And you can make the ice hole, and using the fishing tackle you can actually fish. Using the fishing tackle and as a bait, mushrooms. I mentioned about the mushrooms. This is one way to fish. Second way to fish...
There's a sight to behold.
Nice. The second way to fish is to craft the fishing rod. At some point when you pull up the crafting, you can craft the fishing rod, and you just stand on the shore, and we use the bait. Oh, come on. We use the bait, cast, and tackle. And we wait for the fish. When you catch the fish, you see on the bottom, it starts to move. I'm clicking so it's moved on the left side. When it reaches the left side, you catch it. When you reach the right side, it will go away. It will run away from you. And when the bar changes to red, you will break the rope. So you have to be careful. You see? And I just caught the fish. We can keep it, so we can... Oh, inventory full, of course. There you go. So those were the active ways to actually catch a fish. There is a passive way as well, and this is basically making the fishing tackle trap. You have to research this technology, let's call it. You can place it, it requires some items, and after when you use it, you have to just place the bite. And as I said, mushrooms is the bite for the fishing. And when we leave it, after a while, you will see the fish here, so you can pick it up. You can. There is, I think, a bug right now with the traps, so you can pick it up, restart the game, and there will be a new fish here. The same like with the snares. After a while, this trap will disappear. I mean, it will not disappear. You will need to salvage it. It will be broken, and you can salvage it. But until then, when you pick up the fish or a couple of fishes, because I think there were two last time I was checking this, there is nothing happen with the trap until you restart the game. So either you spam it, or either you frequently restart the game, so save the game and come back to actually get more food. In regards of hunting, there is not much to talk about, to be honest. You can use any tool or any item you keep in your hands. I think that you can already use the fishing rod for it, but spears, bows, and even the tools like hatchets or knives, they are fine to hunt. And when you hit the animal in the head, it will die. It's an instant kill. You can also use the traps in this game. The snare trap, I think you have the snare trap from the day one. Place the blueprint, place the items, put the bait, which will be the blueberries, the unknown berries or whatever, and wait for the rabbit. It behaves the same way, and I think this is the bug, and I think it will be changed in the next version, because it behaves the same way like the fishing tackle trap. You catch the rabbit, you restart the game, you have the new rabbit. At some point it will disappear after a couple of days. I didn't count this properly, but I think it stays for like 2 or 3 days. It stays like that. And when you grab the rabbit and you don't want to restart the game, you cannot do anything with the trap. It just says the trap is in use and it will stay there forever unless you restart the game, and you will see the trap is in use, but then you see the new rabbit next to it. I hope you enjoyed this guide. If you did, don't forget to drop a like. You might also want to consider subscribing to my channel if you didn't already, as I believe I will make more videos about this game. I might even start a playthrough. If I miss anything, please leave a comment. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.
You will never escape.